over her. However, her antics might come back to bite her. The WNBA has been more popular than ever, thanks to the elite rookies that made their way to the league, spearheaded by Caitlin Clark. However, Caitlin's transition to—
Did you hear? Chennedy Carter has officially broken her silence. Yup, the same Chennedy Carter who basically turned Caitlin Clark into a tackling dummy last season is now out here trying to explain herself. And let's just say, she's not exactly looking sorry. On the contrary, she's saying something like, "It wasn't that deep."
And it looked like Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation. Stream media, Chennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
You heard that right. The WNBA season is around the corner. Rosters are basically full, but guess who's still chilling in free agency with no team in sight? Chennedy Carter. And suddenly, Miss Shoulder Check herself decides now is the time to say, "Let me tell my truth." So what did exactly Carter say? And why is she getting hammered by Caitlin Clark once again?
Now, moving on to Chennedy Carter, there is an interview that just came out where she does talk about the hip check, the famous hip check on Caitlin Clark.
Can you break down that situation that happened?
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking, what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, you know, it's a part of basketball.
Okay, so Chennedy is claiming that she was basically talking smack before she took a swing at Caitlin Clark. Now, for those of you who forgot, last June in what was supposed to be just another WNBA game, Chennedy Carter went full linebacker and bodied Caitlin Clark with a blindside hip check that had NFL scouts peeking through binoculars. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't sneaky, it was blatant, raw, and low-key terrifying.
Her antics have distracted many from her excellent play. When she saw that she was ranked 24th, way below Caitlin.
At the time of this foul, there was a media firestorm and people couldn't get enough. Fans were clutching their pearls and Twitter was basically melting by fiery statements on either side. But Clark, she was ice cold. She didn't even flinch. She stood up, dusted off her jersey, hit a three like nothing happened, and continued living rent-free in the league's headspace.
That was a really ugly foul, and I understand it was bordering on what looked like assault. We all remember the vicious hip check. I also will not forget Angel Reese jumping up off the bench celebrating it. Nor do I condone the fact that Chennedy Carter didn't want to answer for her actions in the press conference afterwards.
That's right, it was a horrible foul, but what does Carter do? First, she tries to downplay the incident like she bumped into Clark while reaching for cereal at Trader Joe's. It was just basketball, she says. Just a little tap. Ma'am, a little tap. You hit that girl like you were an NFL veteran going for the kill. That wasn't a tap, that was a full-blown Street Fighter move. She practically hit her with a shoulder blade special. If that was a little tap, then earthquakes are just a gentle rumble.
Basketball. I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said. And then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing, it's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball and like, it's just.
And here's where it gets even better. She doubles down. She tries to frame the whole situation like it's a media overreaction, fan hysteria, and Caitlin Clark bias. Oh, we're the problem now. We the viewers, the peasants who watched you throw that hit with our own eyes in high definition slow motion. The ones who saw Clark take the shoulder like a champ and keep hooping while you walked off like you just saved Gotham. Carter, come on, be serious.
Yeah.
So my opinion is, I think she does downplay the play a little bit, and these basketball things, like, you do get riled up. The competition happens. I have seen Caitlin Clark do things that I know like she didn't mean to do, but in the heat of the moment, things happen. I definitely think that it was not a basketball play. I think that it 1000% should have been called a flagrant, like, immediately.
That's correct. Carter trying to downplay a foul this intense is really, really wild. I mean, even her fans would accept that this was not a basketball play by any means. And now she even goes so far as to paint herself as the victim here. People are making me out to be a villain, she says, like she's the misunderstood anti-hero in a WNBA Marvel spinoff.
One of those things, but like, yeah, it's kind of what kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to
Do you
push.
watch every game, every
That
single
media.
game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's what I said. They're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like.
No, ma'am. You don't get to shoulder check America's best player, go silent for months, and then emerge from your sleep by saying, "Why does everyone hate me?" That's not a redemption arc. That's a PR disaster.
Ed, she explained hers. It was just a tap, folks. People overreacted. Wasn't me. People threw temper tantrums. Definitely not I. Definitely not I. Prove it. Prove that I went after Kennedy Carter.
And can we talk about the timing for a second? The league is heating up, and Clark, she is locked in for a breakout sophomore season. Fans are hyped, and her jersey sales through the roof. WNBA finally has the spotlight it's deserved for years. But Chennedy, she's just sitting there in free agency, watching it all unfold like Thanos after the snap. Maybe this is karma, or maybe it's just consequences. Either way, it's not looking good for Carter.
He's talking about, oh, it's about being competitive, and oh, people really had a problem with that. Like, what are you talking about? This is not competition. Competition is what we do on the basketball court. Maybe competition is part of the trash talking, but when you decide that you're going to take somebody down, you've stepped out of competition and you've kind of entered into, I'll just say, alleged assault.
Let's be real here. Teams aren't picking Carter up for a reason. It's not about haters. It's not about Caitlin Clark stans gatekeeping the league. It's about the fact that Carter showed the worst possible sportsmanship at the worst possible time. The WNBA is fighting for expansion, visibility, corporate partnerships, and mainstream respect. And here comes Carter, turning a regular season game into a WrestleMania moment and calling it a basketball play.
To do. Kennedy Carter herself has some work to do still. And this is the issue with Kennedy. But she doesn't get it still. You need to know that you're truly sorry. And this is why I said it's a scary thing with Kennedy Carter in terms of whether she should be trusted on a team here again, and probably why she hasn't been to this point, because there doesn't seem to be an acknowledgement that what you did was wrong.
Carter's hit wasn't just physical, it was symbolic of the resentment bubbling under the surface. The thought of why is she getting all the attention has been dripping from certain corners of the league since Clark declared for the draft in Chennedy. She gave that resentment a vicious manifestation in the form of an illegal foul, and now she's being made an example of. And honestly, the league's not entirely wrong.
But the words that came out of her mouth before that happened was pretty unsportsmanlike. The cheering afterwards was unsportsmanlike as well.
Let's be honest, her foul was unsportsmanlike, but instead of reflecting, instead of maybe saying, yeah, emotions got the best of me, Carter hits us with the most lackluster non-apology explanation possible, and it's giving unserious vibes. She could have owned it by saying, I let competitiveness cloud my judgment, but no. She said it was just basketball, like Clark accidentally stepped on her new sneakers and deserved to get thrown across half court.
Go down the court, then I hit like a little bucket, you feel me? Come down, hit like a nice little mid-range pull-up. And then I just like, just give her like a little, like, I'm here. Like, I don't think it was, what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we've seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague.
Bro, you didn't push, you shoved her to the ground. You physically assaulted her.
It's honestly sad to see someone mess up so bad, and instead of just owning it, they double down with the energy like we didn't all just see it with our own eyes. That's Chennedy Carter right now, a grown woman refusing to admit what everyone else knows. It wasn't a basketball play, it was assault. The ball wasn't even in play yet. Caitlin Clark wasn't holding the ball. She wasn't even looking at Carter. Clark was just standing there, and boom, body checked like she owed Chennedy money.
Her, bro. Like, there is no, oh, I just went back and looked. You're trying to justify your assault? How can you justify an assault? This is a bad look, bro. This is her pretty much begging for a team to pick her up. Oh, it's just part of basketball. That's not part of basketball, bro. What you did to Caitlin Clark, you can't justify that assault. Like, bro? I just cannot believe I'm watching this.
And the worst part, she's not even sorry. She's not walking it back. She's not reflecting. She's doubling down, saying she loves the hate on the court. Oh, okay. So we've moved past competitiveness and into full-blown villain arc now. She didn't just act out. She's proud of it. That's not tough. That's not gritty. That's unhinged. That's WWE behavior with zero storyline to back it up.
Full force, like people really made it like a crazy big deal. I've seen the clip, yeah, but like I'm not crazy deep in the WNBA world. But in the WNBA world, they dragged it like crazy.
I mean, that happens, man. Like it's one of those things. I'm a great player. She's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's gonna have their views on it. But my personal view is, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player.
Did you hear that? Carter's claiming there was no bad blood, but the reality is far from it. Let's not act like this was her first strike either. This is not a one-time mistake moment. Chennedy Carter has been racking up red flags like she's trying to start her own collection. From locker room drama to being suspended for conduct issues, she's built a rap sheet longer than some players' entire careers. She's not just a bad day away from going viral, she is the bad day.
In that locker room, I don't know the full scope of what her behavior was like behind the scenes. Because if I was a GM, I would definitely weigh these options. I would not want to bring her back and to create a necessarily toxic like environment in the locker.
This is a player who said she loves the hate on the court while literally assaulting another player on national television. Like, okay then. Imagine saying that out loud and expecting a team to hand you a contract and a jersey. And let's not sugarcoat it, Chennedy Carter is a walking PR nightmare for a league that's finally getting the attention it deserves. In the end, Carter broke her silence. But instead of redemption, we got deflection. Instead of a genuine reckoning, we got the most unserious apology ever. And the league, they've already moved on. The Caitlin Clark show is rolling full speed ahead, and players who want to be part of this new era need to adjust accordingly. So here's some advice for Chennedy. The next time you want to silence your critics, maybe don't do it by silencing your accountability. So what do you think? Is Chennedy Carter serious in her apology? Tell us in the comments, and not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.